So it should ask you for some permission to stay on. So this, so even besides the auspiciousness of the numerology of today, right? So we know and understand that that numbers carry energy and vibration. So we are here on this 888 day, the first one of the year, because there will be three, right? So we'll have 8-8, we'll have 8-17, and we'll have 8-26. So so with that and with the energy of eight, eight in terms of numerology tends to be what I call the money, power, respect. What you need in life, money, power, respect. You eating right. That's what the eight energy usually is. The eights are the eight life path is one that really are the like self-made millionaires, the ones who establish institution, the and so if you'd like to know what your life path is and you don't already know, you can just add up your birthday. Okay, add up each number individually, and see what number you get at the end. And when you get two numbers at the end, you add them together, and that's your life path. Okay, so um so yes, so eight energy for me, what it reminds me of, even though in astrology, the eighth house is associated with Scorpio, right? And but eight energy in numerology reminds me of Capricorn energy. It reminds me of Saturn, because when you think of establishing things, and when you think of a certain kind of genius, and not that other signs don't have their own genius, but the ones usually, often genius is associated with things that people have mastery over, and we think of mastery as having taken place over time. So when we think about stuff like Master Yoda, you know what I mean, we know Yoda get with it. When Yoda got to whip out the lightsaber, heads is rolling, even though he's just like walking with a cane otherwise, right? So so there is like eldership and mastery associated with Saturn energy, and 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 then establishing something takes gathering things that have been so kind of it takes gathering things and then setting them, right? Setting them so that they last over time is usually what establishing something has to do with, right? We're honing, we're gathering, we're setting. And so this energy, this eight energy is big, it's big boss energy. So this is a eight, wait a minute. This is also right. It's an eight universal year because of the 2024. So this is very much a year where, and also we're in a dragon year, Chinese, Chinese astrologically wise. Is that called astrology? Chinese astrology. Is that what that's called? Anyway, yeah. So this year is about intensity. This year is about, and if you'll notice, people don't feel halfway about anything. It's like all the way about everything. And cousin Cat Williams kicked the year off, came in, kicked the door. Like what? So and then it's been like that. And so this is not a year to attempt to go quietly into the night, is what I'm saying. And so um Eight also is associated with alchemy. And when we think about the infinity symbol, we think about the serpent kind of like biting its tail. We think about the eightness of that. And so with eight, even in just and even in eight in astrology, it talks about the kinds of ways that we share resources, like even when you think about alchemy and changing things into something else, right? Like base metals into gold, like two bodies coming together and then like making a human, another human. What the right? And so there's magic even in eight in and of itself. There it lends itself to the energy of alchemy and something of transformation, of kind of like this oh yeah type of energy. We and the the alchemical yes, that piece. And so then when we put these eights together, when this 888, then it's just like, this is the opportunity and power. Let me not leave power out. Eight is associated with power, so our personal power. And when we think about power, we think of something that it's best that it be properly used and channeled, right? So it is just as much a hmm, it's just as much, what is that word? It is there's a word for us to abuse power is not only taking advantage of someone else, but also when we refuse to use our own power, personal power. Does that make sense? That's also an abuse. An abuse is an abnormal use. It's a misuse. So not using our personal power is just as bad as abusing it and seeking to have power over someone else, right? So the proper uses and proper so the most appropriate uses of power, being responsible for our power dynamics, right? Because people who are housing their power in a appropriate way, meaning they are honing it, they have proper channels for it, then those people are not seeking to use their power to manipulate others. And likewise, they also do not feel threatened in the face of other people's empowerment. Does that make sense? So, um, so eight energy, money, power, respect. 8 year is what we're in. How are we going to use our power, our focus, our attention? And that's why the invitation is for you to be honing what is your favorite reality, is what we are honing and crafting as we're talking about everything we're talking about today. And then we're going to finish out with actually being in those visions, because we're close enough to the new moon, the Leo new moon that just passed, for us to be in a place of receptivity and really like honing and being in our like magnetism. Okay, so it's enough for this moment to be based on the numerology and the potency thereof. However, the Lionsgate portal is really about the Sirius. It's really about the star Sirius. You probably already knew that. Some of you may have already known that. So Sirius usually is related to the Dogon people of Mali, because their spiritual practices, their cosmogony, and everything includes their awareness of this star system, which was not known by Europeans and people but these people knew it, and they said that they came from this star system, actually. And so I wanted to just share some things about that. And I found some stuff that was a bit of a revelation. So some say that we have our sun, which is our physical sun, but some say that Sirius is our spiritual sun. And I've heard, and there have some that have related it to Osiris, which tell me, my people, my Kemetic leaning people, because I couldn't find it in the Medu Neter, but does Osiris and Osir, are they one and the same? Yeah, okay, okay, Alu, thank you. So, that being the case, what I thought was interesting about Sirius being associated with Osiris, which, I mean, is that a coincidence that it's like, is it Osiris? I mean, let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. Sirius, Osiris, you know what I mean? Probably, I mean, so, that being, and with that, Osiris, Osir, Obatala. Okay, so this is like a bit of a intellectual, theosophical part of the evening, y'all. So that's what this is. So Osiris, Osir, and Obatala are the names of a particular energy across a couple of different pantheons. I want to say Osir is the Kemetic. Osiris, I think, might be what the Greeks called him. Alu is not there to verify that, but I think that that is okay. Alrighty. And then, okay, thank you. And then Obatala is what the Yoruba people call that same deity. And this is tends to be known as a paternal type of deity. And so what I thought was interesting is that Obatala's number is 8. And so and we're on, and so with Sirius, and with where we're honoring Sirius's rising and return right now, and that Sirius is also Osiris, Obatala, and that number is 8, and we're in this 8 portal time. I thought that is interesting. So I'm going to share with you something that I found of Sirius. Which page? All right. So one is okay. So the Dogon culture, who now reside in Western Africa. Oh, by the way, this book is by Dr. Muata Ashby, Egyptian Yoga. Highly recommend. In this book, he cites 57 correlations between Egyptian Kemetic spirituality and Indian spiritual systems. Very, very key correlations. Okay, so he states the Dogon culture, who now reside in Western Africa, adhere to a cosmogony and mythology which closely follows the Egyptian systems. As with the ancient Egyptians, the Dogons revered the star Sirius, as in the origin of humanity, and the role of Heru, the savior, is given to the god named Nomo. A detailed description of the cosmogony and mythology will be found in this book, some book called The Pale Fox. Let's see. He's by someone who studied the Dogon masters for over 15 years. Like the Zulu, the Dogon also acknowledged their ancient origins from northeastern Africa. So that was that about Sirius. Oh wait, there's another one. There's another reference in here. Sirius. Okay. Sirius. Okay. Oh, this one is juicy. Okay, maybe I want to save this one for last. Hold on, let's see. All right, the Empire Mali. Serious. Oh, this one is talking about Benjamin Banneker using the alignment of the Sirius. Have you heard of this? Benjamin Banneker using the alignment of the Sirius star in the building and construction of some of the sites in Washington, D.C. So, stating that Banneker reportedly referred to Sirius as his favorite star and said it was a double star. He may have heard this from his grandfather. Mali was long known for its mystical beliefs in the power and mystery of the stars. In any event, on July 2nd, 1776. Did you get in? Whoever I let you. Okay, here's another one. Waiting room. Hold on, y'all. Okay. 1776, the actual signing date for the Declaration of Independence, written by Jefferson, an avid astronomer and believer in astrology, the sun was only 12 minutes away from Sirius, essentially in conjunct Sirius. The Empire of Mali, by the way, incorporated the Dogon people of the upper Niger River area who traced their own ancestral migrations back to the pre-dynastic Egypt more than 5,000 years ago. This is the general area of the star constellation maps on the ground more eastward at Nabta Playa, which is something that people are now talking about, Nabta Playa. Anybody else into this have heard Nabta Playa recently? No? Okay. And others perhaps farther west, still sleeping under the sands. They were in possession of star lore and accurate knowledge of the star Sirius and its unseen dark companions, and had encoded the orbital dynamics of these stars into their own mystical beliefs and practices for centuries before the advent of European missionaries and anthropologists. These beliefs connect them with the ancient Black rites of Egypt underlying the scientific knowledge and wisdom of the Pyramid Age. So, a very old story. The dynamics and the disciplines of the masters of the serpent powers are still with us. Okay, so that one was very interesting about Sirius and the Dogon, the Mali. Now, the piece de resistance is the goddess and the Egyptian mysteries, the path of the goddess path, the secret forms of the goddess and the rituals of resurrection, the supreme being, may be worshipped as father or as mother. Ushet Rekat, or mother worship, is the spiritual process of worshiping the divine in the form of the divine goddess. It celebrates the most important forms of the goddess, including, this says Nathor, which I'll just leave that. Nathor, Ma'at, Aset, Arat, Amentet, and Het Heru, and explores their mystical meaning as well as the rising of Sirius. That is what that is what the the Lion's Gate portal, we are observing the rising of Sirius, that star system right now. That's what we're doing, okay? Then it calls Sirius this, the star of Aset and the new birth of Heru. The end of the year is a time of reckoning, reflection, and engendering a new or renewed positive movement towards attaining spiritual enlightenment. The mother worship devotional meditation ritual performed on 5 days during the month of December and on New Year's Eve is based on this Ushet Rakat, which is mother worship. During the ceremony, the cosmic forces symbolized by Sirius and the constellation of Orion are harnessed through the understanding and devotional attitude of the participant. That's us, participants. The propitiation draws the light of wisdom and health to all those who share in the ritual. That's us. Leading to prosperity and wisdom. Oh, I love how this reference, this is from Egyptian yoga, and in the back, I believe it was something he was excerpting from another book, I believe. And I love how it directly correlated Sirius with God, with the worship of the mother goddess. And specifically with Aset, which would be considered like Yemoja or Bridget, and I would also say Mami Wata and the Madonna, right? So that is really awesome. So with this time that we are in this age of divine feminine reclamation, with this reassigning of power that is happening right now, there is much for us as the divine feminine to be harnessing at this time. It is as if the world knows that we are the only thing that can save us. So, and by us, I mean, we are the only ones that can save the whole world. We see what has happened to the world when, uh, in the hands of man, so to speak, we see. And so the time is now for us to become who we came into this dimension to be. And the fact of the matter is, we did not come into this dimension as womb carriers. We did not come into this dimension to run behind men in their games with their toys. We did not. We didn't come into this dimension to even be in schools that they are running, where they are teaching the classes, or even alongside them learning. No, no. There is divine feminine knowledge and wisdom that has been kept secret, but it's the foundation of the secret societies that are and even some of the malevolent ones that are the factions that are running these things. And it's based on taking the seat of the goddess from the Black goddess or the indigo goddess, from the original womb bearers, and stealing it for the papal, and by papal I mean the Pope, the seat of the Pope of the Vatican, taking the Black Madonna's IJ and energy and spiritual power and harnessing it for themselves, which is also why the Europeans did their own witch hunt which was not about indigo women that look like us. They were destroying the wombs of their own women because they knew that this IJ power that is inherent in the original mother would be able to get to them by way of any wombs. Do y'all hear me?
Indeed.
Who said that? Who said indeed?
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Okay. Talk back to me. Somebody say something.
Back to me.
So what does this mean? This means that we can be our beautiful, playful, radiant, joyful, and youthful selves as long as we know ourselves as the divine feminine, daughters of the mothers, okay? Mothers, queens, goddesses returned, titans that we are. It's very important that we not play with ourselves and play about who we are, and not that we not let ourselves be played with. We are not playthings. We are not playthings. So there is an aspect of the way that the world is now where we have allowed mankind to operate like this. We had to let them play with us and in our faces in order to get to the magnitude of madness and effery that is happening right now. We had to participate in some kind of way. And the time, so the time for doing that is over. The time for doing that is over. And the time for playing with ourselves and letting ourselves be played with is done. We must bring these wombs and calabashes together. The times of petty disputes among each other, over, finished. Like, we must learn how to, as we say in the Nation of Islam, we must learn how to settle on the best part of each other. Must learn that, because there's a reason why there's a reason why the Bible is written in the history of the destruction of the mother's temples. We had to be weak in order for the mother's temples to be destroyed. We had to allow dissension in order for the mother's temples to be destroyed. And the fact of the matter is that as a woman, and stop me when you hear something that don't make sense to you, but as a woman, I can feel that the most dangerous thing on the planet is a woman. I can feel that in my gut. When it's like, how is it that a guy could like do us wrong or something? We'd be like, so such a kind of way. But oh my goodness, a woman, it feels like somebody ripped our guts out. Stop me when you can't relate.
It hits different.
It hits different. And that's why we tend to cut women off more than we would cut a man off, because the danger feels more dangerous. You can stop me. You can stop me. Stop me.
You see, ain't nobody stopping.
Ain't nobody stopping. Ain't
nobody no lies were told.
So I got a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go. Mm-mm-mm.
So what
Mm-mm-mm.
does that mean? That means I hear an echo. Do y'all hear the echo?
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
Okay. What that means is we must do our own inner work. We must. So let me tell you, most of the goddesses, Oya means she tore. That's what Oya means. And some of the names of the goddesses in the so-called Hindu pantheon, I would like to just, instead of Hindu, I would like to call it like Dravidian or Tantric pantheon, because Hindu implies it mixed in with the Aryan invaders, right? Some of the Tantric pantheon, right? The goddess names literally, and even Kali, it literally is about her ripping ego off of us and from us. So the goddess, some of us, what makes other women feel so dangerous to us is because we have not embraced our own IJ energy. Because when IJ is the divine feminine energy that's present in womb and womb holders, women, and it's the powerful force that is also known as the spiritual conglomerate called the mothers, the Iyami Aj, most potently available in the womb of the indigo woman. There are that, and then in all women, and then there are men that have it, and they're called sons of the mothers. And those men, Jesus was a son of the mother. Look at all the stuff. Jesus, I'm sure if he could speak for himself, he'll be like, excuse me, I worship mother consciousness. Look at him. Look how he operate. He's a son of the mother. He was here as an extension of the mother's work to give mankind, which is not you and me and none of us, an opportunity to redeem themselves, which is what all the holy books are about. The ones that you don't see or you don't hear are about the journeys, the travels, and the wisdoms of the goddesses. Who's reading them? Who got them books? Somebody with testicles. And they ain't sharing them over here. But that's all right. Because guess what? The mothers are giving us the wisdom directly into our Akashic files and DNA, straight into our wombs. I'll stop. I'll stop and give somebody a chance to say, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that don't sound right. Okay, nobody ain't got nothing to say. Okay. So the danger of other women is only because of us not being willing to contact the goddess within. And the goddess within has many forms, and some of them are great and terrible looking and feeling. But when we know her, then we are indestructible. And we can be with the pain of other women and not take it personally. And not have to cut them off and all kinds of stuff because of them being dangerous. Their pain will no longer be something that is capable of robbing us of anything. So you, from this point forward, relate to yourself as an extension of the rest of the wombs the sacred calabashes on this call and in this gathering. And the opportunity is for you to relate to yourself as an important member of this cauldron and coven. And so with that, you are not going to play with other women, and you're not going to let anyone play with you. Because look at what these demons that are running the corporations are doing with their power. If there was ever a time to not play about you, it would be now. And for that reason, even though some lofty part of me would love to be like, oh, Kendrick, why did you do that? I can't, because the mothers are like, no, people need to know you put one toe over here and we snatching it off. People need to know that right now. Like, because you see what people are doing in their mania and in their fear. You also, it's important that you decide that as a person who lives in the places that are benefiting from what big corporations are doing to other human beings, that it's important that we verbalize, I do not want my conveniences at the expense of the lives of other human beings. It's very important that you verbalize that. Even if it looks like you're going through business as usual, say something. Put it into your speech somewhere. I got this phone. This is me putting it into my speech. All right, girl. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm on this 13 Pro Max. They trying to get me to get the 15 now. No new tech for me because Congo. Like, let us be connected. Stay connected. Stay connected. Stay connected. Also, the mothers are saying, I know this is going to sound so incoming, y'all. So y'all who faces I can't see, y'all gonna let us see your faces if it's convenient. If it's convenient, let's see your faces. So incoming. This is so I'm just letting you know. It sounds firm in my head, so it's gonna sound a little firm. The mothers are like, good that we are suffering the ways that we are suffering. They're like, good, because the way that we are asleep at the wheel, as if we can trust a government that has shown us at every turn that they are snatching lives. The fact that we've gone to sleep behind the wheel and we just get under any of these people's scalpel, the mothers are like, good. Because anything that is not, this is the mother speaking, anything that is not of us and that is not you in your power, it should destroy you. Any child you're going to send to be taught by the oppressor's system should be discombobulated. That child's mind should be messed up. They should have no knowledge of who they are. What are you doing sending your children to the oppressor's institutions? What are you doing sending your bodies to the oppressor's institutions and thinking you're going to come back well? So this is what, this is where we are. And all it is this is about wisdom, about being in our wisdom bodies, being in the womb of wisdom that is our uterus, the womb of wisdom that is our heart, the womb of wisdom that is our minds. We don't get to be children of the oppressor and adversary. What? And think we're gonna be in touch with ancestral blessings. No, no. And the thing is, some might wonder, but how am I gonna live and live a joyful life and be in these awarenesses? And what I will say to you is this: the resilience of the human spirit is remarkable. Remarkable. You give it over to spirit. But that does not mean that you act like it's not happening, because giving it over to spirit, even though it's passive, it's also active. You stop, you drink some water, and you remember that people in people in Palestine are being denied fresh water as you are drinking your water. And you say a little something to yourself in your spirit about that. Stay connected. As you are using this phone, you remember these babies in Congo that's born into slave labor, going into little holes and crap for this mess. And remember our sisters that are constantly being raped. If you don't know that, it's the way that rape is a weapon of war is serious. Mangling these girls and these women's wombs, just mangling them up. And the thing that is scary about this, and I'm going to pause because I would like to have a moment where we'll breathe for a second, and then for you all to just share, what's on your heart, is for I would love to blame systems that the oppressor Anglo-Saxons have put in place as to why these things, but when there ain't no Anglo-Saxons around and it's nobody but men with hungry, angry dicks around that's destroying women, elders, and children. Nah. And even in the hood, with brothers selling drugs, sisters turning a blind eye to that, destroying our own selves. I know gone are the days where we are accepting that these are systems that somebody else put in place, and so we falling victim to that, because y'all know, like I know, that we come from grandmothers that had a choice, and them grandmothers, great grandmothers were like, don't bring nothing in here that you bought with that money. Nothing. No, I don't want none of that from you. They go and walk out and they go to church and they look at them and they disapprovingly on the corner. My native godmother auntie, her son was out on doing that stuff. She dressed in all white and went out on the corner and walked up and down the street, chanting, yelling, and singing. It embarrassed him so bad he never went out there again. We got to have that kind of resolve. And we got to know that Just because someone puts the conditions around us do not mean we have to use the conditions against each other. We got to have some integrity. We got to have a backbone. We got to have some resolve. We got to be what the goddess made us into, not what the oppressor made us into. And I would like to pause right there. Let's just take a moment and just have a breath. And I would love to hear from you, from y'all. Oh, and as I say this, so the joy of this moment is about the fact that we are living in somebody else's simulation that they made while we were asleep. So what we're going to do now is make our own reality. Not rely on feeding on the one that someone else has made. That is passive, that is lazy. We are making our own reality. It's going to take something. It's going to take disrupting whatever we are doing that is not indigenous. It's going to take disrupting our jobs and money being our gods. It's going to take disrupting being playthings. Okay. Y'all turn. How do you feel? What are you thinking? Oh, let me check the chat. See if anything's over here. Okay, Ashe 100. Yes. Don't make me call on you. Okay, you can take time to gather your words. So let me just say this. We are dangerous. And this Elu has heard this from me. Phoenix has heard this from me. Kirsten has heard this from me. Cause we be trying to act like we like innocent, like, why doesn't he want me? And why doesn't he? I'm like, girl, cause we dangerous. That's why. Cause he see our IJ energy right there. And our IJ is looking at him like, you make one false move, I'm gonna snatch your face off. If we don't know that we are harboring a deadly force, but the thing is, at the same time, we're harboring the force that gives life. But the inner work is about knowing our inner landscape for all of her flavors and colors, not ignoring any essential parts, right? So the less we know about, the less we consciously know about ourselves, the more dangerous that we are to ourselves and each other is the thing. We want to get to know what is going on in here so then we can make use of it in a conscious way. Because some of us, our subconscious has been hijacked. So we are operating in ways that are, what's that word called? That where we are betraying ourselves. So we want to gather ourselves back. And during this, and on another note, this Leo season, one of the beautiful things about Leo energies, any Leos on the Leos, sun, moon, or risings up on here? No? Okay. We got a Leo rising, right? We got a Leo rising on here. The beautiful thing about the Leo energy is about the shine You know, it really is that saying about the bushel basket one, about letting our light shine and it gives others permission to shine. Leo very much is like the queen. It's like a very a queenly energy. And one of the beautiful things about queenly energy is she's on her throne for all to see. So if you think about Leo energy, there's not typically too much shadow energy with Leo. They wear a bit of their IJ and their what's dangerous and ruthless about them right out there. And there is, you know, there's medicine. There's medicine in anything, and there can be poison in anything, right? So there's medicine in the kind of out in the shine that a Leo represents for us all. They really represent, and it's like diva when we think about diva queen kind of energy. And when you think about where they're like there where it can be something about embracing, it's like bringing our shadow out into the light. And the thing is that we don't love we don't love our people any less just because they have integrated the fact that they are that they feel jealous when we spend time with other people. That does not make us hate them. You know what I mean? They be like, "Ugh, you going over who house?" That does not make us hate them. We'd be like, "Oh," we'd be like, "Oh, you love me." You know, and that might be that might be a thought or a feeling that otherwise that we might hide, right? Or because it's about, because Leo is about expression, about bold expression. Or it might be like, whenever you whenever you or even like, well, you know, I noticed that that when my car was broke down, you just asked me how was I getting to grandma house, but this boy that you dating, he automatically get a ride. That hurt my feelings. just just out there, just bold and out there, like, so what? It's not we're not managing what people are thinking about us often, you know, like, and that's with the right, that's with the diva energy. It doesn't, it's not all bad. It's out there. The sun rules Leo. It's out there. It's bold expression. There's medicine in that. Yes, it can be a dramatic hot mess, but it also, there's medicine in that. There's medicine in then in wearing your feelings on your sleeve, as what is what they say about Leo energy. Okay, I'm gonna pause for real this time.
I mean, I feel all of that. Thank you for the reminder, as today I felt real in my diva energy and very expressive. I felt like I did not feel like managing behaviors and attitudes. And it just hit me in my spirit, and I didn't know what was taking over. I was like, I don't have it today. So you're gonna get this raw energy without protecting always and making, shaping and shifting. I'm just gonna give you what's in my spirit today. So thank you for the reminder of that was my Leo kicking in. I'm not a Leo, but with our 8-8 portal, I'm like, oh, that's where that was coming from. So thank you for that reminder. And I've been feeling also the energy of I'm not to be played with. And again, I'm not protecting you, you know, bringing back my energy, my power. I've been feeling that real heavy. And so everything you were saying, I was like, oh, you're in my closet. You're speaking to me. Wait.
Oh,
Um, I gotta work through all of that. And like you said, that mess can still have energy and be a message and be beautiful. So I'm gonna embrace that. Thank you. You were speaking to me.
you are so welcome. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah,
I
but you got
second that.
heard together. Diva medicine. They heard them together. Diva
Yes.
medicine. Okay. mhm.
Yes. I second that. I was at a meeting today, and it was the first meeting of the type that I had been to in a while, like they call it a stakeholder meeting. I have issues with that terminology, but that's beside the point. Uh, it's this maternal health organization that I'm a part of, and so I went to the meeting, but I was like, yeah, I was like all over the place. I was like, what in the world? I was I mean, I'm usually like, pretty extroverted and, loquacious and, all of those good, 50 Cent word type things. But it was like extra special today. I was like, what? What is going on? And like, really, I've been feeling that way like this whole time. Like, and I kept having to remind myself, like, yeah, Lionsgate, because it started July 26th. So really, like, from then, like, the past like week and a half or however long it's been, like, it's just been like on fire.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I definitely understand everything you're saying with that. And it's interesting because in my chart, Leo is empty, so to speak. Like, I don't have any placements in Leo. And so I have a lot of Leo people in my life who in some ways they inspire me. In some ways I just be like, go away before I catch a case. You're getting on my nerves. So like
Leo is your 12th house also. It's also your 12th house.
it is. It
That,
is.
that
It
counts.
is.
That
It
counts.
is.
That
And
counts.
so it's like, and so that's what the funny thing for me is because while the rest of the world is like, yeah, Leo's the time to be energized and out there because it's my 12th house. I'm like, I just wanna find a corner. Like, I just just be like, leave me alone.
Mhm.
But then I be having my moments where I pop out, you know what I mean? So it's like it's a balancing act, you know
You
what I
gotta
mean?
pop
It's
out and show me.
I'm gonna pop
Okay,
out.
you are a Gemini. You are a
Yeah.
K dot. You are a K dot.
Yes. Like, listen, they not like us. You know what I mean? I'll pop out. So it's been wild. So it's like it's been wild for me since Cancer season, for real, because that's my North Node. So that was just like it just all the
I
lessons.
my eyeballs out. I cried my eyeballs out all Kansas City.
Child, it was a lot. I was just like, can I breathe? I'm so ready for this beach trip I'm fitting to take for my baby girl's birthday, because that's our new tradition, is going to the beach
Yeah.
for her birthday. I'm so ready. Like, it's not even my trip. I'm just like, yes, girl, let's go.
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
girl.
You're
I'm
beautiful.
ready. But I
And
really appreciate this space and
yeah.
everything that you were saying was just resonating so much. It was like so many things like pinging for me and that I was thinking about, as far as like the how we perceive each other's power as danger as women. And that's something that has been my thing for as long as I can remember, for as long as I could articulate what the issue was between me and other women, like even in childhood, just always feeling like ostracized and just like being that girl that was just like, I'm like, if you ever watch those like coming of age movies where there's like the girl that's like the nerd or whatever, and the new kid is friends with the nerd, but then the cool kids is like, don't be friends with her. I was the one that was people was telling not to be friends with, you know what I mean? So it was just like, what? Like, why? I didn't do nothing to you but love the Lord. Like, what's happening? So yeah, like all of that has been, and it's something that I've been working through because I'm noticing how it replays in adulthood and it takes different shapes.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm also grateful, and I'm also grateful for, even with all of that, allowing myself to be trusting of
Yeah.
women in the right spaces, like
Yeah.
spaces like this, where it's like we're all coming in these spaces with our stuff that we're working on releasing, so that we can trust ourselves, so that we can trust other women who are are working in their highest intention, that are
Yes.
not about all the foolishness. So
Right.
I found that, knowing, women like you and the sisters that I've met through you has been really important for me to be able to exercise that ability
Yes. Okay.
to be able to trust.
Yes, let me say something about that. I am totally, this is totally a conspiracy toward heaven on earth with me. I am, oh, please understand. Understand. You know, Nadine, you know, I'm just realizing, are you Dr. Nay? that came to my
Yes.
class. Okay, I
Yes.
just realized. Okay, all right. Hey, honey. So,
Hi, baby.
this is a conspiracy. Just like exactly what you just said, because it makes the space safe when everyone in it is up to and about their introspective work. And
Mhm.
that is what I am completely conspiring for myself, because it's not enough for me to just be living in Shangri-La, which I am. Because it's I have to interact with the rest of us. And if we are not all in Shangri-La, then how can I be in Shangri-La, which is heaven on earth? So that is why I offer the introspective love work. That the point of it is that we will all be in our divine goddess energy. We will be aware of ourselves. We will not be operating unconsciously and then destructively, because we are so powerful and we are the answer. We are the answer to what ails the whole entire world. And that's why we have this little energy in us that people can easily go against each other, because the same ones that burned down our mother's temples are the same ones that put in us have enmity amongst each other. There's something about our unity threatens the regime, pseudo regime that's running the planet.
It's the truth.
Yeah, I
It's
see
really
that
the
echo.
truth. It's really the truth.
I think I'm echoing.
Yeah, it's like going in and out.
Just because of somebody who's not muted. See what happens. And it's like phones that'll do it.
But this is everything. This is everything right here. This right here, you know what I mean? And even this is it's just so much that's been unfolding. That's why when you texted me like, where you at? I'm like, minding my business, because it's just a lot. It's just a lot going on. This is a lot going on. Like, I took a couple IG breaks. Like, I was like, missing stuff, so to speak, but I wasn't really missing it because it must not have been for me, because I always get the information I need as I'm supposed to get it. So like, I don't really be tripping about it. But like, yeah, I be ducking out of here. I'll be ducking out of here when I need a moment. Like, yeah.
You are not alone.
Thank you for sharing.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Nay.
Yeah, so
oh wait, now we're all echoing.
we're all echoing.
It's weird. Okay, go ahead and say something, Dr. Nay.
Hey. Okay. So I'm a writer, as you know. And lately I've been a tortured writer. That's what happens. And then this week, so it's interesting. I also just completely detest the word stakeholders. And I don't use it. I try to use like key informants or, important contributors or like everything. But I'm also on a quest to eliminate violent speak from my language. So I don't say bullet points, I say emphasis points. I say, so I'm constantly confusing people at work when I don't say a word they're used to saying in a different way. But I say all that to say that somebody did try to play in my face this week, and it was quite funny. Because I have this freaking high profile job sometimes that I took on purpose because I needed to be there in a way for my people, in a way that a white man, woman, or Black man couldn't be. So that's why I'm in the job I am. So I'm at a university, and so I wrote, like, that's why I had to turn my camera off, because I was like writing furiously. I looked like this, so I had to turn my camera off for a minute when I was just, because it was too much. I couldn't look, listen, and write. So I had to cut the looking off so I could just listen and write. And so what I wrote as you were speaking, some of it reflects exactly what you were speaking, and some of it is reflective of me. So it started out I said, it is important that I don't let anyone play in my face. I am not one to be played with. I am ready. I deserve respect. My very presence in the academy is revolutionary. It is time to actually bring the revolution with my actions to my actions. It is time to bring it. I need to be more assertive, even in my rest.
Mm.
So that's what was, I mean, and that's only a section. There's like 3 pages. That's only like,
Wow. I'm so happy that you brought the word revolution to the conversation. Thank you for that.
you're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's what time it is. That is what time it is. And this period of reclamation is for the purpose of revolution. That's what that's what it's for. Yes, thank
But
you.
it's also, it's being revolutionary while also still being gentle with ourselves and living a soft life.
Yes.
Because of the fact that's why it was like, even in my rest came to me, because you were talking about women being raped, and we're just being attacked on all sides, even if we are not currently physically being raped, right? And so we have to also remember that we need to find space for softness, for gentleness, and to give it to ourselves. Even if no one else is going to give it to us, it has to come from ourselves first.
Yes.
And even saying that is revolutionary, because as Black women, as women, we are meant to be the mules of the world, not to allow the mules to carry us. Mm-hmm. And when we let the mules carry us instead, it feels different. It hits different. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember that we also have to find the rest in the revolution.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And with that, one of the main things that we need rest from is from taking our hands and putting crap into our mouths. We need rest from the kind of toxic loads that we put into our own bodies with our own hands. We need rest from that. Mm-hmm. If we rest from that, somebody please give me a testimony, or just give me an amen or a high five. Taking less toxins into the body has us feel less stressed. It is something it's something to be using one's own faculties and harming oneself with it. That is exhausting, and that feels super stressful. It really does. And then when we lighten the toxic load by just that part, it makes living in this womanness and in this womb feel softer. It feels different. Mm-hmm. It hits different. I mean, I really am and also
intentional rest. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Intentional rest during our flow. Yes. Yes. And because we get to rest our insides from having to battle what we put in it. That's a big deal. It's really a big deal. It makes such a big difference. Like and sometimes, yeah. And then also giving ourselves the permission to dream for what is our favorite and highest aspiration. That's another way that we get rest, because we can bombard ourselves with thoughts of thinking things have to be a way that doesn't even feel good to us. It's like that's a toxic load that we bombard ourselves with. What about the fact that we will feel depressed? My students and clients have heard this. When we won't give ourselves our favorite reality in our own imagination, which is the only place that we have full creative control, then what we feel is depressed. Why? Because we are being oppressed by alien thoughts. That's stressing us out. So there's so much of an inside job that de-stressing and living softly, soft life, hard boundaries is what I like to say. Hashtag soft life, hard boundaries. It's so much that so much of the inside job where we can give ourselves a chance at living sweetly and softly by stopping being adversarial to our own sacred self-care. Okay, who else? Thank you so much, Dr. Nay. And I would love to see all the wonderful things that you wrote. If you want to post it in a blog post or something, tag me. What else, y'all? Don't make me call on y'all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How should we move, or because we were talking about the Leo energy and not being played with. I had to really sit and think. I'm like, okay, what experiences have I been having for the past couple of days or maybe weeks? And there have been things that have been coming up. But unfortunately, it's family that's playing in my face. How do we navigate something like that? Because I have not been in the Leo energy of more so, you're not gonna play in my face and I'm not gonna take this nonsense from you. I'm more so trying to take the high road, like, you know what, this is kind of beneath me. I'm just not gonna interact with you. I'm not going to even give you energy and play into what it is that you're doing. But I'd be lying to myself if I said it wasn't upsetting me or it wasn't bothering me. But how do we navigate when it's family that's playing in your face?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's loaded, right?
Oh, sorry.
No. You don't have to apologize. I'm just like, oh, how do I squeeze that into this moment? Okay, I'm glad you came back. I'm glad you were there, Elu. Oh wait, somebody's put something in the chat. Okay, coming, Misha. Hold on. Okay, those are things I saw. Well, what I would say is, I mean, it's so many. So I'm thinking at one time I'm thinking, well, it depends. What is it? But then I'm like, okay, well, if I had to say something succinct, which I can, and there are some things that can go across the board, and so what I would say is, you can ask yourself, what would I do if I wasn't afraid? And the reason why I say that is because sometimes we think that we are taking the high road because we're choosing that, because we'd rather think that over admitting that we're afraid of something.
Mm.
Sometimes what we're afraid of is our own selves. Sometimes we're afraid of the backlash that addressing something will give. And in that case, what I would say, and something that I am something that I'm being mindful of is, okay, so Mama Nay saying something, even if it's family, you still have to assert your boundaries. You only have one life, and it's important to live it for yourself and not them. Ashe to that. Ashe to that. And Ashe to that. And I'm watching that I'm watching us do and being mindful of is when we talk about our peace, you know what I mean? Our peace, and when our peace disrupted and our peace, we have to also watch out. We don't want to be a slave to peace either. We don't want to be a slave to nothing. So let's not, we don't want peace to make us its biatch. Don't be nobody biatch. So what does that mean? That means sometimes it's going to take something that might not look like peace to maintain peace. That's the way it is. Now, when I say don't look like peace, do I mean flipping tables over? I do not. But people sometimes will say and do things and then hide their hand. And then
Mhm.
when you address it, you are somehow the problem.
Mhm.
So the thing is, what's important is doing do what you can't not do. So when I say that, what I mean is do the thing that you're gonna wish you did when you go to sleep, when you're on your way to sleep. I shoulda. Ooh, I wish I would. Just be like, you know what? I don't want to give myself no residue to go to bed with. And then another thing, so there's that. Do what you can't not do. Also, do what you would do if you had to answer to somebody about you. How about that? That's what ancestral worship, that's what ancestral veneration, that's what that gives us. And also having like deities and shrines, because they'd be like, you come home and they'd be like, so what happened? And you let them do that to you.
Okay.
So, it's a little something like that. So it's like sometimes if we don't know quite how to take ourselves, how to hold ourselves, how to honor ourselves, sometimes it takes us being in the remembrance of honor that we're held in order to does that make sense? Like I'm
No, it does.
okay. Yeah, and so and why? Because you're not helping other people when you let them be tyrants. Nobody wants to be a tyrant. Take the case that nobody wants to be a tyrant. They want you to shut them down so that they are not abusing their power with you. And you're not helping them if you're letting them do that.
I definitely agree with you, or not even agree. It's more like I could actually use that. Like that, I can apply that to my life as far as like answering to someone like about me. Like
Yes.
that definitely is very instrumental as far
Good.
as like,
Who's your person? Who's your person that don't play about you that you can pretend you have to answer to? Who is it?
you mean like right now?
Yeah, no, who's your person that you have to be like, don't, you know what I mean? You don't play with me because such and such, and I'm gonna make sure I speak up for myself because such and such is gonna want to know that I spoke up for myself. Who is it? Because if you don't have nobody,
It's
you can use me.
probably
You can use me if you don't have nobody. You can be like, oh, if I said this to Ia, she'll be like, you let them talk to you like that? So who you got? Grandmamas? You got aunties? Who you got?
honestly the only person that really comes to mind is my sister
Okay,
because
who else?
she was around when this whole thing was going on, and I was ready. Actually, there was a part where I actually was just willing to give in to the nonsense and just be like, I can't deal with this. I guess there is a level of fear in just like, yo, why is this even coming at me anyway?
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me like, you not, are you trying to fold right now? We're not going to fold. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to slap you if you fold. What are you talking
Oh yeah,
about?
that's good. That's good when you have people. I mean, you don't want to get slapped, but I mean, I had one time my best friend told me, like, I was with a particular guy and I was around for a particular thing that he was doing, and she told me, if you stay with him, if he does that and you stay with him, I'm kicking you out of the Tigers Club because we born in the Chinese Year of the Tiger. She told me she was kicking me out of the Tigers Club, honey. She had to tell me that. And I don't want no problems with my fellow tigresses. I wants to be a tigress with my pride. I want to be with the pack. I want to be bold and fierce like the other tigresses. I don't want to be a lamb. No disrespect to anybody born in the year of the lamb. I don't think there's one of them in the Chinese astrology. But anyway, it helps sometimes when our people just what they're saying is you're worthy of being protected and respected and honored. And I honor you, and please honor and protect and respect yourself. That's all they're saying. That's what they're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah. So So try some, and look, just try it out. You're gonna make some mistakes sometimes. You're gonna do it and then maybe not feel good about how they responded. But it's worth it. It's worth it. My mother says you got to get them demons up off of you. What she mean is, don't let nobody else just go home and just be all in they mess that they done laid in your lap, and you ain't get them a little something to lay in their lap. Look, listen now. And by that, I don't mean anything like negative or mean, but just don't let them throw it on you.
Yeah.
And I noticed this doesn't sound like all love and light, which which me with my dimples and stuff, I really am. But this time that we're in, like, it's not about playing. It's the Chinese Year of the Dragon. I would be remiss if I was talking to you like we got going to be lambs this year. No. See what these people is doing in this country and to people. You see what just happened to that sister in her kitchen?
Yeah.
She called the
That was
police.
wild.
And that's another reason we got to cover down and guard and protect each other. And you better check in with your sisters and let people know where you at and let people know what you're doing and what's going on and stuff like that. We need each other, because I'm telling you, we need to be, ma'am, no. Like this is the Dragon 8 year. And then Mayan galactic wise, I know we just on here and on here and on here, but it's the what is it? Blue Rhythmic. Is it Blue Rhythmic Storm? What is it? The Mayan galactic year. Oh, by the way, y'all. So I'm gonna do this again. I think I have an I'm gonna do this class again, but for the energy of the one on 8/26, and I'll have a guest mama on there as well, an Oya chief priestess who I adore deeply, and maybe some other things. So just so you all know that. And on the 17th, I'll be having a day retreat, the Honey Shakti Mama retreat. It's just everything that us IJ women womb carriers need to know and to remember about this time. All the yummy, juicy yoni womb stuff is in that. Okay. Blue Rhythmic Storm. Okay, thank you, Mama. So yeah, we're in the Blue Rhythmic Storm. Did you hear that? It's the Blue Rhythmic Storm in the Dragon 8 year. Do that sound like Be Quiet Like a Little Lamb? Murray?
No,
Murray.
Murray,
do that sound like you and your little lamb? And so that's the thing. We can't be just so married to what we think peace is that we won't take on the energetic that upholds it. Even a monk that has made a commitment to not be fighting and not whatever, they need to know how to operate if they need to defend or protect themselves or someone else. So we need to be able to know how to use our fierceness if need be. We can't be so out of touch with it because we're trying to be like some kind of lamb that is a part of the religion that the oppressor is pushing in onto us. Wouldn't they love for us to just be lambs? Isn't that convenient? But I love how in the nation we say we fight with those that fight with us. So we over here minding our business in our head wraps and bow ties, but don't come over here, don't start none, won't be none. Don't start none, won't be none. Okay, who else want to say something? Don't make me call on y'all. I want to hear y'all. As we take our close at some point tonight, we're gonna have to close this thing, I guess. I want to hear from, just because you matter in the space, that's why I want to hear from you. I can just close and we can do our visioning exercise and move out. But I think that your Afo Ashe, which is the power of your spoken word, added to the calabash that we are sharing matters.
I'll say something.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can anyone hear? Okay, good. Hi. Well, we met today.
We did.
Can I say under what circumstances?
You can say yes, ma'am. That's your confidentiality. That's your blissness.
Okay, well, today is the 8/8 portal. And we met and had a birth chart reading today. And it's very interesting what you're talking about in regards to divine feminine and feminine energy, because I'm not a lamb. I'm all lion. You know that. And I'm a Leo, Venus, and a Leo rising. And I'm grappling with all of this lion energy and fire energy has carried me all the way here. I needed it. I needed to tear things down. You know, I needed to bulldoze things. I needed to hurt some people. I needed some things to be fractured. But I'm struggling with, how far do I take that? When do I put these things down? Where do I put them down? Where does that energy go? Who do I give it to? And also, when I am showing up in a space, you know, and I want to be in my nice, divine, feminine energy, do I come in peace, or do I bring what's energetically required for the situation that I'm in? It was a good reading, but it was very frustrating to me and annoying. And it's not you, but it's just what I deal with, you know, because that energy, opposing energy being a part of me was so necessary. I feel like
Opposing.
Well, not feminine energy, masculine energy, fighting energy. So I just wanted to know, what are your thoughts on that? You know, if I do feel like sometimes I have to show up and wreck shit if I need to, you know, because sometimes I need to.
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Well, the thing is this. You said, where does that energy go? There is a lifestyle that will help us facilitate and hone our feminine energy. There's a whole way of life, and it includes things like what we put into our bodies. It includes things like aroma, essential oils and aromas. It includes things like what colors we wear. It includes there's a whole alchemical mix. It includes things like how in our power we feel. How have we alchemized past hurts that we've had? So how do we even come to situations now? Do we come as, as people who are constantly remembering being victimized, and so we're ready to, to fight and swing? Or we come in people who have been alchemizing some of that, have been some of that darkness and some of that pain and fear. But I think that there are so many practices that are about sacred self-care that helps to tune and to tone our feminine energy so that it's something that feels comfortable to us. And then we can make decisions when we go out into the world about what shapes we'd like our faces to be in today. And by that, I mean what feelings we'd like to feel. We'd like to allow ourselves to feel based on interactions with others. But the thing is, if we're not practicing how to soothe and feel juicy within our own selves and our own energy, then we're going to be dry and ashy and fiery in our energetic. And we're going to pop off. Stuff is dry, pop off and spark. Dry, hot, fire. As opposed to being juicy, because we are tending to our own feminine energy. Does that make sense?
I would just add to that if I can, because I think I resonate with what you were talking about. I can't remember your name. Was it Taja? Okay. I think of it seasonally, like if we think about how there are different tools and modes that we adopt for different seasons, and it doesn't mean that any one is not good or important, but it does mean that there's maybe not an appropriate fit. So if I become a master at building an igloo and ice fishing and making warm clothes in the winter season, that's awesome. That helped me survive. That was critical. If I do those same things when the summer comes, it doesn't mean that those things are not skills or essential or important, but they something different is now needed in this time. And so I think instead of seeing it as like a war between two sides of you or multiple sides of you, that you honor those skills, which it sounds like you're doing, and leave the room for the development of other kinds. And I think we are very good at the skills that we come up with when we're under duress or when we're in the fire or when we're pressured. We find these like ways to be and to live and to survive and to do. And it's actually much harder to, at least I found, to figure out like who are we to be and how are we to move, and we have more time to pick up which skills and behaviors and practices to choose when we're in a different mode of life. And that actually, I think, calls us to a more attuned and aware and intentional form of self. And so I think sometimes we're often looking for what we know, which is, I know if this happens, I'm going to go into this mode. And so that can even become more comfortable because we're so good at that. And so maybe we'll even recreate that mode, or we just wait still for that mode. But there's actually so much
recreate situations where we can
situations
use that mode that
where we can be the way that we know how to be, that makes us feel strong and powerful. And so I think there's so much like uncomfortable growth, and just attunement and development. Like I know for me, it's like right now, learning to be like water. It's just like, that's not my thing. I don't flow. I create, I organize. It got to be this way so I can be safe. So I know what's so be like water sounds great. It's a nightmare for me. But that's an attunement. But I respect she that is me that is not like water, because she's gangster and she gets stuff done and she's awesome. But she brought me here where she can learn to be like water. So I don't know if that helps at all, but
that's awesome.
It does help, because you know how Erykah Badu says this tea and incense can turn into Newports and Colt 45 if need be. I'm on that kind of time, but it does make sense. But I'm trying to find a balance, because sometimes, there are some times where I feel like that is my way of being strong. So I can try to be like water. I can try.
Well, the good news, and to those on the call who know what this is, Ty, you told me to call you Ty, right? Ty is actually, so she had her astrology reading today, but she decided to move forward with the introspective work. So she will have plenty more of exploration into herself, and then awarenesses and tools to use, and management measures and all kinds of wonderful things in the coming months. So you're gonna feel so the so it's a few sisters on here that have have gone through that process, and or who are in it. So which they can probably relate to what you're saying, where you're like, I don't know how to be like this and being like that. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I know this thing. And it's like getting to know the different aspects of our internal landscape can just help us to just have a more manicured feeling landscape, because we just know how to, we're aware enough of ourselves, and then we know how to give we know how to give ourselves the things that we need in our plurality, in our multiplicity, in our facetedness as dynamic, awesome, amazing beings. So, yeah, you're on your way.
I can share that so I'm a Leo South node, and my work with that part of myself is still ongoing, and yeah, but especially this past year, I just want to say it's a testament to the introspective love work, because I feel like I'm integrated in this part of me so hard now that I can like navigate things that I never thought before I would be able to.
Yes.
And she can be really
That's
stubborn and want things a certain way. So I hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, and you gave her, now she's had her time to get focused on, and for you to hear what she's about and what she wants and what she needs. And now she doesn't have to flip tables over in your life or steal the spotlight, because you know that you know how to integrate, giving her a stage, giving her, right, giving her what giving her what feeds her, loving her well. Yes. Awesome. Yes, thank you, darling. And thank you, Najma. That was so wise. Almost as if you are being groomed, almost as if you're being groomed to be an inner love priestess. That was so well put. Yes, see your voices adding to the calabash. And yes, ma'am, Alu Omilora.
Hi everyone. Can
Hey,
you all hear me okay?
I can hear you well. Mhm.
Okay. Okay, great. I'm worried if I come on and try to speak, the connection could start getting a little janky.
I
So
understand.
just keep me posted as I'm talking if it's doing that, because I'm in the jungle and my connection's not that strong.
Okay.
Although somehow the call stayed connected the whole ride on the four-wheeler through the jungle to the house, which never happened. So I felt like I was having like a almost out of body experience listening to you at like the apex of what you were saying, in like complete darkness around me with the trees and this. It was like, wow. Um, so the question that you asked, Ia, about like what would we do if we weren't afraid?
Hmm?
I'm curious, like what the answer to the question is, based upon our first memory, like our earliest memories, if that makes sense. Because there were some things that kind of immediately came to mind in my like present time space reality, but then I realized something that was like first before all of the stuff I'm thinking like that came to mind now, which was the first thing I ever wanted to do that I wasn't afraid to do until I was denied the chance to do it, was to, I wanted to go to Sudan. I had learned about the genocide in Darfur, and my immediate response as like an 11-year-old, 12-year-old girl, I literally asked my parents, I was like, can I go to Sudan? And they were like, why? And I was like, I think I can do something like about what's happening to our people. And it was a hard no, like for reasons that I understand. But the alternative became, well, you can go to Spain, like you can study abroad in Spain. And so when I'm thinking about what you were saying, Ia, about how it may seem like, oh, we're just over here like living our best life and eating fruit and going to yoga and doing all the things, but like the subtext of all of that is that we are like radically reclaiming like the divine feminine warrior in us to rectify what has happened on the planet. And that like a lot of the ways in which we're able to like engage in bringing about liberation have to do with like what we're able to do within ourselves, like what you were saying, like eating better foods, like speaking on the things that we know are happening. And so I just like some inner child, teenage child stuff like has been coming up since you asked this question. And like with the energy of this portal, my dad is a Leo, and he sent me a text message today that I sent to him like almost 10 years ago. No idea where he found it. He didn't even say anything. He just sent the message, and it was like, I was like, hey dad, like I'm learning how to rollerblade with the help of my cousin. I fell down like 2 times on the first day and I hurt my hand, but I remembered you teaching me how to ride a bike and to keep going. And so I just wanted to say thanks for that, because today I took off work and I've been rollerblading all day. And then the larger context of that, which is, I think it was I forget who it was, Dr.
Nadine?
Doctor on the call,
Dr.
Nadine,
Nay.
speaking about like like being revolutionary, like within the academy.
Yes.
Full circle moment, like from the text with my dad to today, I literally resigned today from my quote unquote high profile job that was still for like a Black liberation, quote unquote, like organization, but there was still too much cognitive dissonance that I was having to do, like because my politics were still radically different from what they believe liberation looks like for our people, and like engaging in the theatrics of the political world stage as a form for liberation, like all of that, like no. And I think it's so powerful to somebody said when the thing first start, like when this session first started, that it's good to take a risk sometimes. And I just wonder what it would look like for all of us to like just decide we're not going to participate anymore in the illusion of what they're presenting as democracy, like, or as freedom, or as like a solution. And Dr. Nadine, and like my resignation letter literally started with, I hope this message finds you with your revolutionary spirit intact, because that is the prerequisite, like, for what will be needed in times such as these. And like, and then went on and on and on. But like, I just feel like this whole evening, like, I just feel like light on, like everything activated, like keep your keen awareness, because you've said this in another context of a conversation, but like the dominant culture, the patriarchy, the culture that doesn't honor like the original woman gives us invitation after invitation after invitation to outsource our power or to like play dumb, for lack of a better term. Like we are constantly being given invitations to play dumb for everybody else's comfort. And it's super whack. Like I am not trying to play pretend for real. Like, so, and now I have a question. So so to the question of what would you do if you weren't afraid? And I think it's kind of to what Tay was just saying, but like, what is the balance in like being a good sport, I guess, like where you're like, okay, like if there's nothing like inherently wrong, with like the thing maybe you're being asked to participate in, you may just feel like it's like, I feel like beneath you, it sounds like
Not in
a
alignment.
little like not maybe, but maybe it's like not even not in alignment because it's so not that deep. It's just like, I just don't want to do this.
Okay.
It's just kind of like
Yeah. Well,
basic,
yes.
boring, like,
Yes.
but
Well,
it's not hurting necessarily. It's not hurting anything to
uh-huh.
participate. Like, do you get what I'm trying to
I totally get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. And what I will say to you is that why a good question might be why okay, the thing is, if you're not doing what is in alignment for you to do, then what are you spending your energy doing? That's the thing. Are there benign acts when you know all your stuff inside you is saying no, thank you? Why can't you take a chance to be seen and accepted? And what you would be doing is giving the other person the opportunity to love you unconditionally. Whereas if you participate in something that feels out of alignment for you, then you don't give. Sometimes, see, this is why it's good to be in ongoing, conversations like this, because there's always something to discern and to discover. Sometimes what we give someone else is the opportunity to love us unconditionally because we choose not to be convenient. Imagine that. Imagine that. Now, if you have unlimited something that you want to give of yourself to someone else, something that they're doing that you're not into and that you're not about, you could choose to do that. But what I would say is about us being divine portals of cosmic and galactic energy, that whatever we put our energy in is going to multiply. If that's not something you want to do every day, don't do it for 2 seconds. How about that? And who wants you to do something? Okay, make sure the computer stays plugged in. Who would you want someone to do something with you that they were doing? You know what I mean? They have no interest in, they don't feel edified, uplifted at all. They're just, I don't know. Maybe some things you would. Maybe you're like, okay, nigga, you doing this because I want to. Shut up. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe. But this question feels like an important exploration. And I wonder, I'm gonna tell you, because you know this, how I get, this thing. What I will say is, well, let me give you an example. I'll just give you this example. I know it's late, y'all. If anybody needs to drop off, just don't drop off. All right. you need to drop off, just don't drop off yet. Okay, let me give you an example. I was in a shop. So I'll tell you what I think is the tone of this year. I was in a shop. I was overhearing people talking about alkaline water machines or something. I heard it. I had just taught a class. I was sufficiently ready to go and not be spending any more energy. One thing led to another. I ended up in the back of the shop where this conversation had happened but was finished. And somebody mentioned, I think, me and the fact that I have a alkaline water machine. And then the gentleman who was having the conversation said, so which machine do you have? Now, mind you, I taught my FemBody Yogini Bliss class, which is a 2-hour-long class. Aside from the time I spent preparing and coming there, and it wasn't the first thing I did that day, right? This was in the evening. So what I said to him was, he said, so what machine do you have? And I could tell he's a talker. He was talking and talking and talking back there. So I said to him, I said, you know what? I can tell that you are really ready to talk about this. And I'm not ready to talk about this. That's what I said to him. Okay. Another instance. Group photo. And we're all there, a dozen of us. We're coordinating to take this group photo. Somebody's taking the photo of us. People have handed this person phones. This person is going through 5 phones taking this photo. I was in the photo, and there came a moment, and I said it out loud. I said, this activity has 10 more seconds. And I was in the group of people. I said 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I got up and I got out of that picture. And they were like, wait, one more. I was like, that is it. I'm done. The 10 seconds, I'm finished. The last picture, I don't need to be in it. No spending, no frivolous spending of energy. Nobody needs that from me. They don't need me to do one frivolous thing. It feels like this is not the time for that. That's how it feels in my spirit and in my womb and my gut. It feels like my energy needs to be spent so intentionally right now, while babies and elders and priests and press are being mangled, burned, and dismembered. This is not that. This is this time. And something about the daughters of the mothers right now, we are being called to grow up, and that's going to help. Did Elu? Her what'd you call it? Her connection. Maybe she might pop back up. But it's like we're being called to grow up right now. And okay, she's coming in. Okay. Elu, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I have my apps automatically shut down at a certain time, so it just kicked me out.
I gotcha. But it feels like We are being called as daughters of the mothers. We are being called to grow up right now, to mature. And in our spiritual maturity, it is necessarily going to cause the elevation of those around us.
Thank you, Ia.
You're welcome, honey. They're gonna be, I promise you, they're gonna be just fine, because something about you daring to honor your authenticity and even find, we all are gonna, the whole world is gonna benefit from that, from you living in that, from you honoring every drop of your focus and energy. We're gonna all win because of that. Anybody else want to share something before we do our closing visualization, visioning? No? Okay, since it's late, I'm not going to call on everybody. Okay, so this, I know we talked about a lot of things, but most importantly is, where is heaven for you? More important than everything else that we have talked about today, because your heaven needs to be at hand for you in order for you to even benefit the people that are living in a hell right now. Because I've already lived, I've already lived the version where I immersed myself in as much as I could, in the hell that the other people are living in. And the way that it was like harming me, it was like, I'm not helping them like this. I'm not helping them like this. If I am not well, and that is what my teacher told me. Her final words, she said like a whole dissertation, and it was about care. I asked her about, how am I going to continue life? I mean, when I tell you, I had piles of mail messing around with what was going on globally, what is going on globally. I was like, F that mail. These people is being raped, murdered, killed, burned. You know what I mean? Like, this mail can't be important. It was like, and I talked to my teacher, because it was like, it was like, I was finding it, as much as I give myself over the spirit, I do my stuff, but any good priest should have some good priests that they talk to and that they go to. So I was going to my elder, and I was like, what, how am I gonna? And guess what she said several things to me that had to do with me honoring my womb every day. Which anyone who knows me knows that that's my natural way. But that's what she was reinforcing and embodying my power and honoring myself. And guess what her final words were? And so that's what I have to say about Palestine. That is what she said to me. A woman who cares and who also immerses herself in it, but that's what she had to say to me as a daughter of the mothers. Of all that womb stuff about me taking care of myself, my womb, embodying my power, walking in my power, in the wisdom, divesting from the colonizers' ways, re-indigenizing my life. That's what she had to say about Palestine. Me being in my indigenous, divine, feminine wisdom and power. That is the answer to us not making an enemy state out of anything that is around us and in our worlds. That's the answer. So, this final moment, I invite you to close your eyes and take yourself to your favorite place with your favorite person or people. And fill it in with as much detail as you possibly can, because we are jumping timelines. We are breaking down the matrix. We are crashing, burning, divesting from this dystopian madness that is the creation of someone else. And we are bringing in heaven on earth. And it begins with heaven in you. So your favorite, and don't you judge what your favorite thing is. Don't you judge that who's there with you is who's there with you. You feel it, you see it, you know it, you be it, you taste it. And don't you worry, I've done this with scores of people, and some of them were afraid at what they might create, and they were wondering if the people that they wanted there wanted to be there. And I will tell you what Yeye Oshun told me. Anyone that you desire will desire you back. And then there's a spiritual law that goes, that which we desire is also desiring us. So as you see your favorite place, you want to see a clear vision of it. A clear vision. I don't care what I love y'all, and I don't care what none of you hoes think. My clear vision is there with a cute boy. Okay? I don't care what y'all have to say about it. It's there with my favorite cute boy. I don't care how evolved or not that looks to none of y'all. My favorite place is with my Mr. Precious Face person. I'm not judging that. That's where I take myself any night that I want to just go to sleep and I want to feel a certain kind of way. That's where I go. And you can always go to this place. And this place is actually the real world. It's the real world because it's your heaven. And this dimension is becoming the heaven that is yours to the degree that you remain loyal to this vision. The invitation is for you to visit this place, this realm, your imagination, which is the workplace of the goddess. For you to visit this place any and every time you want to. This place where you have full creative control. The workplace of the goddess. The real world. Heaven on earth, heaven in you. Heaven for us all. This is the beginning of heaven for our sisters. Heaven for those in the Congo. This is the beginning. Heaven in you, a vision of it. Taste it, feel it, know it. This is the beginning of heaven for those in Sudan. This is the beginning of heaven for those in Rwanda, for those in Palestine, for those in Yemen. This is the beginning of heaven, and in the womb of your imagination, the imagination of the womb holder, is the workplace of the goddess. It's the most powerful place on the planet. The darkness of the womb, the darkness of the womb of your mind. May you always have access. You do always have access. May you always use the access that you have to this place. And may you and we all experience bit by bit nuggets of this paradise as we walk even in these bodies, in this land, and in this dimension. May you find safe people to share your heaven and Shangri-La with. Speak of it proudly and boldly. You can always reach out to me and share it with me. I would love to be a keeper of your heaven with you. Seeing it, feeling and believing it, knowing it to be so. It's our mother, she will take care of us. The earth is our mother, she will take care of us. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. Her sacred ground we walk upon. With every breath we take, her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. The earth is our mother. We will take care of her. The earth is our mother. We will take care of her. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. Hey, Anna, oh, Anna, hey, Anna. Your sister, Calabash Holders, Divine Feminine, IJ Women. Thank you for spending this glorious time with me and for traveling inward and creating, activating with me. And thank you for allowing me to join you in this auspicious occasion. Ashe, Aho, Namaste, Swaha. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you, Iya.
Well, welcome, Pumpkin.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You all have a good night of rest and heavenly heights within. And maybe I'll see some of you on 26. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good
thank
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Peace, everyone.
Thank you.